This video was sponsored by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com, use promo code CLNS20 for 20% off of your purchases. I've known who you are for a long time. The thing that always sticks out to me is that you're so, first of all, you're a great example for young guys. You're also really empathetic. And I think when people talk about sports, people often forget that we're talking about human beings. And you're so good at empathy and both setting a good example, saying, hey, there's certain stuff you got to do, you got to take care of business, but also understanding that people make mistakes and they're human. And you're so good at the human element. Can you talk about your beliefs a little bit? Because I'm a fan of you and who you are, not just your content.
Well, first off, bro, appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
It's funny, like, I think it's just because I came to YouTube and like people got to know me a little bit later in my life. Like a lot of cats that get on YouTube are usually younger.
Yeah.
I think I probably got on by like 27, 28. So I had just lived a lot of life, man. I went to college for 3-4 years and then I managed a $1 million retail store for like 5 years. So I feel like I've been through a lot.
Yeah.
I made a ton of mistakes. And I know so many people like where I'm from who are good, they're good cats.
Yeah.
They take care of their kids. They love their family. They got the same morals as, the average American. But they sometimes make bad decisions. They get caught in these situations. And it's a lot of situations I grew up in, I didn't even realize how bad it was. You know what I'm saying? Until you kind of get that perspective as you get out in the world. A lot of people never get that perspective or they get it too late. So when I look at athletes, I literally just look at them as people. And it was weird to me at first that a lot of people didn't look at it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I think Josh Gordon is a good example. Like a whole lot of people, like the same people who would be like, yo, addiction is a real thing. It's a disease. And they'll understand like their uncle has an addiction problem, but they can't understand that Josh Gordon has an addiction problem. Like, you know what I mean? They think that because he can run fast and jump high, that for some reason he should just be immune to all the other, all these other human situations. And I just always kind of thought that was ridiculous, honestly.
Yeah, a little bit.
And so I try to bring that to my channel. So when I talk about it, what I do is, man, and I'm gonna stick with Josh Gordon because I think it's just a good example. Mm-hmm. I saw so much stuff about Josh Gordon on ESPN. He's getting talked about every single day. I had no idea that he started doing he became addicted to, I won't go into it because, YouTube, but he became addicted to a lot of different things. He was like 13, 14 years old. His parents were addicts.
Yeah.
And that stuff was just on the internet. I don't know Josh Gordon. It was just out there, public information, but I never heard it. Like when the story got told, that never got mentioned. Yeah. And that doesn't change the fact that, look, man, you have an issue, you need to try to fix it, and it's a problem. You broke the rules, you're going to get punished for it. It don't change that fact at all. Yeah. But I just like to have the context, you know what I'm saying? So now I can understand a little bit better why he's making these decisions that he's making. And it just, when you think about it, kind of makes sense. Like if you're an addict and you're poor, and then you get money, you know what I'm saying? Like now you have access to all the stuff that you was doing before, you can do it times 10 because there's nothing stopping you. So it kind of makes sense. Like you just understand it, you know what I'm saying? And so that's really all I was looking to do, to be quite honest. And then I also, my internet, this is my rule on the internet, period. On the internet, because, I'm 32, so I kind of came up when, as the internet was taking off, but I got, again, a lot of real life experience. I try not to say nothing on the internet I wouldn't say to a person. Like I really run that through my mind. Like, would I say this if I was across from this dude? You know what I'm saying? And if I wouldn't say it across from the dude, I try to abstain from saying it on the internet. You know what I'm saying? I ain't
a great
perfect,
policy.
but that's pretty much my guiding star. So I try to look at it like that. If I was actually having a conversation with this person, or like his mother was watching this video, or something like that.
Well, the thing is, sometimes they do.
Be respectful.
If I may, have you ever had athletes reach out to you? Because I have, and they really like when we talk about them as human beings.
Absolutely. I can't talk about it yet.
Yeah.
I got a great opportunity coming up next month, and it's pretty much largely because of that. Like he just really liked the way that, I talk about the human side of it and everything. So I don't really I never really looked at it as this big thing, but I have noticed as the channel has grown, that's drawn a lot of people to it. That's what a lot of people
Yeah.
seem to enjoy about the content. So I think it's dope. You
Well, I
know?
think people follow they want you. They want your content, but they want to hear from you yourself. And I
Yeah.
totally understand that. I love the way you covered Kima Sivarand. He was a guy that he got cut for. A lot of people made it kind of into a meme. He got cut for trying to sneak a girl into his hotel room.
Yeah.
And I get, like, it is a funny story. Like, you look at it face value, you go, oh my gosh, that's the most hilarious thing I've ever heard. But he's also
Right.
a dude who misses out on maybe his lifelong dream. And that's inherently sad and heartbreaking. And I thought the way you
is,
covered
bro.
that story, man, was so great.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Yeah, because it's anytime there's a story like there's so many jokes. It's like it's so easy to go that route.
Yeah.
But like I really think about it like I think anybody can do this. Like I don't think this is anything special. Like I really don't.
Yeah.
When a young again, I'm 32. These cats is like usually in their 20s, man. When a young person makes a terrible decision, I could always look at it and be like, man, I remember I made this terrible decision. I made this like this is me. This is like
Yeah.
my little brother, my little cousin. Like so I look at it like that. So I don't want to be like overly harsh or overly judgmental. Yeah, you made a stupid mistake, and I'm gonna tell you made a stupid mistake. But at the same time, I can also empathize with you, and I understand that we've all made stupid mistakes. Sometimes you end up paying big. Sometimes you get away with it.
Yeah.
He ended up paying huge, and it's something that probably seemed real important to him at the time. And I know, bro, 4-5 years down the line, he gonna think back on that, and it's gonna eat him up, you know. And that's sad, you know, because it's gonna be hard for him. It's possible. People have done it. It's gonna be hard for him though to move on to like the next stage of his life because he's gonna understand he really blew this opportunity just because hormones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's rough. You know
the one-
it's gonna be rough for him to deal with.
The one I always understand is when guys, if you're 22 years old, you make a couple $1 million. I don't know
Yeah.
how you don't, and you've lived your whole life. I know. I grew up in a mobile home. I worked at a car wash for 2.5 years. I was building
So
strong
you
mid
get
sports,
it.
going to college. Like
Yeah.
the first time I got enough money from YouTube to like survive and get my own place, I
Yeah.
didn't know what to do with it, and I can't imagine. I was living paycheck to paycheck, and I still almost do. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have all this money. It felt so great. I can't imagine if that was instead of enough to survive, if it was millions of dollars. Can you imagine? I can't. It's crazy.
Dude, it's very difficult to imagine, but I just like the thing you have to do is that you see how you can put that in perspective. Like you gotta be able to put it in perspective. Anytime
Yeah.
you see a person do something, instead of being like, "Yo, this person's an idiot," like try to think about it. Like, okay, if that was me, what would I really do?
Yeah.
What did I do that one time I got that bonus check at work? I splurged. You know what I'm saying? And I got like you got a $700 bonus check at work, and you pretty much blew the whole thing. So imagine if you got $1 million bonus check. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're gonna likely have that same behavior, especially at least until you get used to, actually having money and you learn like what to do with it.
Well, it's funny too, man. $1 million, you could spend that so quick. I mean, you buy a house for your mom, a car, another house, like it's gone.
Yeah,
Like bam.
it can be gone just like that.
Yeah.
Just
where are
like
you-
that. And if
Yeah.
you're an athlete and your career is hella short, it's dangerous. And that's
Yeah.
why when Cass is holding out and all of that, I get it, bro. Like it's like, dog,
Yeah.
I gotta get paid right now. My shelf life is like my career span is not that long. Like I know I'm making a whole bunch of money, but I'm not gonna make this amount for the next 30, 40 years, like most careers.
Did you see the way that-
you gotta get it
Yeah.
while you can get it?
Oh, for sure, man. Did you see the way that Melvin Ingram held out?
Yeah.
I
didn't,
loved that.
I didn't see it like in detail, but I just saw that he was at practice, just not participating.
Yep. Well, he
Yeah,
was helping guys
yeah.
out. He's coaching out. He's engaged. He's just not risking injury till he gets paid. I love that. That's perfect.
And that's smart. That's like I actually didn't even know. I didn't know like all the details of that. Like, but see, that's when you look at the situation and say, "Yo, what is my goal here to get paid?" It's like a lot of times when guys hold out, they say their goal is to get paid, but it seems like their goal is to kind of get back at the organization.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
feels like more like a revenge than a means to an end. And so, like, yeah, the way he did it, that's dope. I think everybody should really like take a page out of his book. 'Cause that was
Absolutely.
smart.
Well, I hate when guys are. I don't hate. I get the holdout, but it's tough when guys are like alone in the woods, deep somewhere, not answering anything. They're holed away somewhere. It's like, man, you're not present. You're not engaged. Your leadership is being lost. Your presence is being lost. It's hard.
Yeah.
And you want to reward a guy.
I think you should only get to that point if you try the Melvin Ingram route and it doesn't work, right? Like, so if you did that this year and then you still end up not getting paid, like, you can get to that point if the organization's just not willing to work with you at all.
Yeah.
But usually, they'll be at least somewhat reasonable if you're somewhat reasonable.